I'm standing on the alleged equator, on the red line, facing east, and here are the results on my phone. Here in the lovely garden of my accommodation in Quito, Hostal Alcala. Before I tell you the plan for the day, I thought I would show you some pictures of the place, some video. A restored old mansion with hardwood floors and high ceilings. Very quiet place, even though it's only around the corner from the real center of nightlife. It's a great place to sleep. The breakfast is delicious. And I say all this out of no promotional consideration at all, because there is none. The plan for the day is to do something that I said that I probably wouldn't do ever, which is to visit Mitad del Mundo, the center of the world. Now, you may think it's strange that I say that. I don't mean to put it down, because obviously I'm interested enough to go there, but more for a sociological curiosity than to satisfy any desire to set foot on the equator. Anyway, I hope that becomes apparent as to why as we go along. So let's head out.
Mitad del Mundo is a half-hour beyond the northern outskirts of Quito and can easily be reached with public transportation. From my hostel in the La Mariscal district, a trolley plus 2 bus connections got me there in about an hour for less than $2. And, oh yeah, you'll know you're there when you see the traffic jam. Once you pay $10 to get in, not cheap by the way, and get past the folks lined up to take pictures in front of the Mitad del Mundo sign, you'll soon discover that the place is a sort of shopping mall and amusement park. At the center of it all is an imposing monument that sits astride a yellow line. It's the line, of course, that people come here to see. And because they're convinced that there's something different about the centrifugal force on this line, people try some pretty funky things here, like balance an egg on the head of a nail. But mostly they take pictures to prove that they were here, at the middle of the world, on that magical spot separating the hemispheres.
Nena, mirándoles a los papis si quieres, ¿ya? Eso. A ver, siga, siga.
Gracias.
There's only one thing wrong here. The equator isn't on that yellow line. For many years, centuries in fact, it was thought to be, ever since a famous French scientific expedition declared it to be so in 1736. But that was before GPS technology was developed secretly in the 1970s, and before it started going into our mobile phones at the end of the 90s. We know now that those 18th century scientists were off, as it turns out, by about 790 feet, or 240 meters.
In fairness to the creators of this monument, they didn't set out to deceive anyone. Or did they?
I think we can confidently say they didn't. As for the government and the tourist industry, they've yet to come clean.
So if this grand tourist attraction isn't really at the equator, then where is the equator? I just stepped off the grounds of Mitad del Mundo. In fact, that's the wall of the property. I'm walking along the busy highway that leads back to Quito, and I walked literally less than 1,000 feet, and I've arrived at this place, Intiñán, the real Mitad del Mundo, or so they say.
If Mitad's vibe is Coney Island, then Intiñán's is Topanga Canyon. Before you even pay, you're greeted by a hostess who welcomes you onto the compound with its campy assortment of totem poles, guinea pigs, even a shrunken head. But don't let that fool you. This is Arnold, my guide, and he knows his stuff.
My country is the most important place on the line because it's a unique point. It has a mountains. That's why the highest and farthest point to the center of the earth. And that's why the gravity in my country is less. And your weight on the line is 1 kilo less too. Gustave Coriolis, he was a scientific mathematician. He studied the move of rotation of the earth. And Coriolis found when the air rotates very intensive, on this area and this part of the earth create a force. The name of this force is centrifugal. This force starts on the line and goes to the poles. And when returned, Coriolis found the force crush in wind and water and produce a direction in the phenomena like hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons, twisters, tornadoes. Tell me, in which direction the air rotates always? West to east or east to west?
West to east.
West to east, on this way.
Yeah.
And tell me, in which direction goes your part of the earth?
So this is clockwise.
Clockwise on the south. And what happened on the north? It's the same or change?
No, the other way. Counterclockwise. Okay. Yeah.
Come to the north. Pay attention to the United States. Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise.
And what happened on the line? Please search, come up to the right line. And pay attention to the line, okay?
Yeah.
And tell me, in which direction go the line?
Like.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
The line is straight down.
Yeah.
The line doesn't move. And Coriolis found when the air rotation very intensive on this part of the earth create a force. And when those phenomena return crash and go to the other way or crash and cancel and straight down. Yeah, that's why in my country and on this area don't have those phenomena. Okay? But in my country have other phenomena.
Yeah.
Earthquakes, volcanoes.
Yeah.
And which is the bad phenomenon in my country? The bad phenomenon. the bad politicians.
There's no disputing the so-called Coriolis effect, even though some experts would cast shade on being able to detect it within the short distance that Arnold purports to demonstrate here. Once he gets the water to flow counterclockwise on the north side of the red line, he walks across to the south side, and it flows, you guessed it, clockwise. Is it coaxed in some way? You be the judge. As for the egg, you knew this was coming.
Slowly by slowly. And see the top of the egg, and this line is your reference to put it straight. Oh yeah, it really...
Maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Pay attention to my fingers, okay? Slowly by slowly.
Excelente.
Try.
El maestro.
I tell my secret now. Put it in the correct position. Your body.
Oh.
Put it straight. No.
Close but no cigar.
Push up. Now your finger. Hold it tight, okay? Now, okay, come to the red line. Same didactic example. Extend your fingers.
Okay, we're about to give it the GPS test. And let's take a look. I'm standing on the alleged equator, on the red line, facing east. And here are the results on my phone. 0, 0, 4. Well, it's not 0, 0, 0, but it's closer than Mitad del Mundo next door. That was an interesting experience. I failed the egg test. The water in the barrel seemed reasonable, and yet when I stepped on the red line, the supposed equator, I came up a little off of 0, 0, 0, but I recognize that official entities and others have measured the spot and have obtained that GPS reading. So don't count me as an agnostic. I am fairly confident that I stepped on the equator, and if not on that red line, who knows, maybe a few feet away. Well, that's it from Intiñan and its more famous competition next door. It's time to find my way down the dusty road to the highway and return to Quito. But from at least near the middle of the world,
So long and see you next time.
It's hard to walk.
Yes. How many tequilas do you drink in the morning?
No, nothing. Zero.
I'm sorry, you're under arrest.